Good morning or good afternoon. In this tutorial, I want to show you how to add accommodations to students in DRC. So you go to All Applications, you're going to click on Student Management, and then once you click on Student Management, you're going to see Manage Students. So click on Manage Students, and then you're going to see two tabs, manage students and then upload multiple students. Don't worry about uploading multiple students because that does involve a CSV file. So let's just manage students. So click on manage student. Now, this is your filter right here. So notice that anything with an asterisk is required. So you need to make sure that you are using for the administration, you're using diagnostic interim 2020-21, and then your school should automatically pop up here. Now, there are several ways you can find your students. You can filter by student's last name, first name, or LACID, or all three. So if you have a list of students and you want to just do each one individually and you have their LACID, then use their LACID. If you have the student's last name and first name, then use the last name, first name. You could also filter by using grade level. So, for example, let's suppose that you have a list of all your 7th grade students that have the accommodation for ELA of text-to-speech and math text-to-speech. So if you have text-to-speech, it's going to be for both probably ELA and math. So then you have your list of 7th grade students. So you're going to filter by 7th grade. And then when you filter by 7th grade, you can find your students. And then what you see down here are all of the students in 7th grade. And so all you have to do is from your list, you just click on, see the little box right here? You click on the box and it's highlighted. Keep scrolling down until you find all of the ones that you want to add the accommodation of text-to-speech to. So then you go to the next student. If I can just quickly go through this, and let me just do one more. And so let's say you found all your students. Okay, then you're going to scroll down. You're going to scroll down. So I'm going all the way over here, that vertical bar. You're going to scroll down until you see something that says update accommodations. So let's go ahead and update accommodations. And then you are going to either assign accommodations or remove accommodations. If you somehow made a mistake with a student, then just go here and remove accommodations. So you click on this and then remove all these accommodations if there were any check marks in there, and then you save. But let's go ahead and assign accommodations. So I'm going to assign the accommodation of, let's say, text-to-speech, and this student's taking both grade 7 math and, let's say, ELA grade 7. So there are 3 students. I picked 3 students. So there are 3 students that I'm going to add that accommodation to. So notice one of the benefits of doing this is that you don't have to do each one individually. You can just pick a group of students that have the same accommodations and then do it that way. And so you just click off right here, you check them off, and then you click on Save. And then once you click on Save, then you're going to get the message up here. See up here? It says, please see the update report for possible impacts due to changes to online accommodations. The report may indicate that tickets need to be reprinted. All valid accommodations were assigned to selected students. Students with any invalid accommodations selected were not updated for any accommodations. All right, so let's just go back and just kind of see if those accommodations were applied. So I'm going to go back to those 3 students, and you don't have to do that. I just want to just see what happened. So I'm going to go to the action menu right here, that action menu. Click on that, and go to accommodations. See that there are a bunch of tabs here. So you go to accommodations, and then it was there. Okay. So always verify that the accommodations that you checked off are there, just to be on the safe side, because you're doing this remotely and you don't want to have these students that are at home not being able to get their accommodation because they're all over the parish in their homes. So they're not at your school. So it's much easier just to go in and verify yourself that they do have those accommodations. So I'm just go ahead and cancel. And so again, you're going to do this before you put students into into their testing session. So again, these accommodations must be applied before placing students in their testing session. So if you make a mistake and you put a student in their testing session, then all you have to do is like we did here. So I'm going to come back. So let's say after a while, let's say 6 hours later or a day later, you realize that the student done you had placed the student in the testing session and then you place their accommodations. It's not going to read to them. So you got to take that student out of the testing session. So once you take the student out of the testing session, then you're going to come back and you're going to go to manage students. So remember a day later, so you do the same process you went through. You're going to find that student. It could be a group of students. So I'm just going to go ahead and just do grade 7. And then you're going to find that student. And it just turned out to be this one, let's say. And then you go all the way to action again. Go to action right here. And then you go to accommodations. You remove that those accommodations. Save it. Okay. Then let's add it again. So let's say you got to add it back to that session with those accommodations. So you're going to go in, go to accommodations, add those accommodations, save it, and now you go back and you put that student in the session, and you should be good to go. The student should be good to go in terms of getting their accommodations of text to speech. All right, and then if the accommodation happened to be, let's say, calculator, so I'm going to open it up again. So go to accommodations. So notice that this is middle school, so all you see is basic calculator. If the student were taking Algebra 1 or geometry, you would also see scientific calculator or graphing calculator. So you'd see that as well. But since I did choose a middle school grade math, then if that student gets the accommodation calculator on all test, then you just check off this and then you save, and then existing student was updated successfully, and that's it. All right, so that is how you're going to uh, put accommodations for students before you place them in a test session.